Welcome everyone, Sir Heroscape here today for update number 10. Running out of fingers. Odds are this could go for weeks on end, so I might have to find a different way to represent the update numbers other than my fingers. But anyway, that's beside the point. We have another update that just dropped today. It's focused specifically on a squad, and it is awesome. So let's check it out. Here we go. We have the Wraith Riders. Now, first off, I just want to call out how awesome that name is. Like, that just sounds so freaking cool. Wraith Riders. Like, what a great name for a squad. A unique squad, I might add. Note there that it shows a unique squad. Let's take a closer look at these guys. Okay, whip is behind. Okay, dang. So these are... Wow. Very interesting. So they've got like some sort of ponytail. Oh no, that's not a ponytail. That's like cords. Those are those are like cables and cords and tubes and stuff connected to their back. Wow, okay. So they've got chainsaw arm and a freaking whip. Well, at least it's that guy. Oh my gosh. And like, what? I don't really understand what that is. My guess, my first impression is some, like Star Wars, right? The, I think it's BB-8, or whoever. But yeah, is it a rolling ball? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like a tire. It looks like it might be, yeah, probably some sort of rolling ball is what my guess is. And that's how their movement is happening. If we had a side view, I don't think there's a side view. Do we have a side view? Yeah, there's not really a side view. That one does show a little bit more depth. It's not as flat. It does look a little bit more 3D. So yeah, this one does make it look like, you see the curvature of the way that they've kind of designed it. It does look like it's a ball. It does look like it is a ball. I think so. Yeah, so these must be some crazy dudes on a ball. Oh, wow, look at the end of that whip. That is so sick. Holy cow. My word. So this guy's got... Oh, it looks like that's the same guy. Okay, so they've got a sword. So we've got chainsaw, we've got sword, and then we've got... It looks like some sort of other blade. But notice the face masks are very different. And that was one thing about the Ironclad Collective that they mentioned was their face masks are all very unique. I think they called them death masks. Holy. Okay, yeah, that's some sort of other blade. Back view. Okay. Dang, these guys are straight up cyborg. Like, there's hardly any organic. I mean, they've got their shoulders and their chest. Other than that, everything else is machine. Oh man, this faction is nuts. Ironclad Collective, man, they're an interesting bunch. So, wow, yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of in awe of what is this squad. It looks like a 3-man squad. So, yeah, 3-man squad. That looks pretty gnarly. It's a unique squad. Most unique squads tend to be around, I don't know, 100 points or so. 3-4 defense, maybe. We'll see. That's kind of my first estimation. That's kind of what generically unique squads are around. But let's take a look at what they actually say about them. The strength of walls depends on the courage of those that guard them. Interesting tagline. Wraith Riders are the vanguard elite of an ironclad advance. rushing ahead of the main force to break forward defenses and weaken morale before the enemy are overrun by the inexorable march of legions of ghastly cybernetics creatures. Their fast and aggressive flanking tactics force their adversaries into killing zones where the rest of the ironclad can apply their vast array of horrific firepower onto the beleaguered and hopeless. Interesting. So, a couple things there. I find it very curious that they say the strength of walls depends on the courage of those that guard them. Could that mean, so strength of walls, could that mean that with their rolly balls, they have the ability to move over castle walls or like wall ruins? Like maybe they have the ability to traverse obstacles? That's my first impression. Now, that might just be, good writing, right? Imagery, right? Basically the strength of quote unquote walls, right? Or defenses, right? So maybe don't read into that too much, but because of their movement in that ball, maybe that ball has some sort of cybernetic ability to, attach itself to surfaces, right? And so it can, traverse obstacles. Anyway, that's one thought. The other thing that I found interesting is, so they rush ahead of the main force, breaking forward defenses. So very highly aggressive. So probably a low defense type squad, but very likely a very high octane attack output. So I'm thinking at least base 4, base 5 attack, potentially. Obviously depends on the other abilities. But the other thing to notice here is that it says the fast and aggressive flanking tactics. Now in Heroscape, fast tends to be, movement 7 or 8. So I think these guys are probably going to come with at least 7 movement. I think that's warranted. Now, aggressive flanking tactics, I think, it's pretty apparent. There's really 2 ways that you can represent flanking tactics, at least based off of the miniature. Flanking can come from disengagements. When you have the ability to disengage, it's a lot easier to reposition and flank your opponents and, as they say here, force them into killing zones. So I think they might have a disengage ability, highly mobile disengage ability. And then I'm also thinking they have the chain grab ability, just because look at the sculpt, right? The sculpt has chains. So, or a whip or whatever. So, obviously that's not confirmed. Obviously I have no real idea, but a highly mobile unit that can chain grab, units out of position, that can use disengage to flank units, that has really high attacks, they can rush in, just blow up the defensive line, and maybe an ability to traverse obstacles. Yes, please. And so, yeah, you take a look at these guys. I think those types of abilities could be warranted. Because it's a whip, it might not necessarily be a chain grab, and it might, be some sort of whip like James Murphy, right, where it's it lowers your defense or some sort of mechanic like that, or doesn't allow you to roll defense. But yeah, if this is a unique 3-man squad, and if it's a Vanguard squad, I could easily see it having pretty high attack, kind of like the Kazuke, right, where you rush them in. They deal massive damage on their initial strike. They kind of blow things up, but then they potentially fall. Well, there you have it. Another exciting release for day number, or I guess I wouldn't say day 10, but update number 10. Continues to just be exciting to see how the faction has been fleshed out for this Ironclad Collective. I will mention that it was confirmed by Encarmine that each week, I believe, is what the plan is to introduce factions, right? So last week we got introduced to the Dawn Raider faction syndicate, the Dawn Raider syndicate, right? And so we got to see a lot of units from that. And then on Friday we got kind of a special release, and so it's been confirmed that we can expect a similar thing going forward. Obviously, if they want to change on the fly, they'll change on the fly. But so far it's been fairly consistent, and then Carmine, based off his comments on the Discord, seems to agree that, you know, throughout this week we've been introduced to a new faction, right? The Ironclad Collective, and then Friday likely will be a special release or special announcement. Not necessarily similar to Sonlin, right? It might not be just showing us who's survived. It might just be something entirely different, maybe like a historical unit, for example. But right now it seems like they're focusing on the new factions in terms of introducing us to them, getting the hype up for the new stuff. I anticipate us seeing other stuff we're more familiar with later on, but similar to like Sonlin, right? So hang in there. I know a lot of you making comments are starting to get a little worried that this is a little bit too new age. It's the Age of Annihilation, right? They've created an entirely new epic that is potentially, you know, 10, 20 years down the road from the current epic of Heroscape. And so we have to kind of break out of our mindset that it is the same and fighting and the situation is the same, right? And so I think you have to open your mind to the fact that as the war continues, as the war has been spanning decades, you know, these Valkyrie generals are going to be pulling, you know, people through the well springs from all kinds of planets, right? I mean, as they gain more proficient in their ability to see those visions in the wellspring and see those warriors and those heroes from other planets, they know what they're looking for. They know where to go, and they start reaching deeper and deeper into the universe to pull those people from these obscure planets, right? And so I think they're really building out the idea that, you know, what we were introduced to at the beginning of Heroscape was the initiation of the conflict, right? It just happened, right? This conflict, wellsprings were just found. You know, we're starting to pull in heroes to fight, and we're starting to create alliances. You know, and now that there's been this break and Heroscape's being revitalized, I think it makes so much sense and it's so exciting that they're basically saying, yeah, but it's been 20 years. Here's what's going on right now. And then you can kind of spend all this time filling in the gaps with the lore, right? You can build out a vast and exciting lore, basically stating, hey, here's what's happened in the last 20 years in the battle for all time. And the current state of things is crazy and gnarly, right? That's why I think some of these kind of fringe or edge designs that are like, whoa, this isn't Heroscape. I mean, yeah, it's not what we were used to, but like you have to think like these designers and realize we're an entirely new epic. So yes, we're going to see stuff we're familiar with, right? They're still going to pull people from history. They're still going to have some heroes that survive, like the Sonlin that got introduced, right? They're still going to have stuff that we can be nostalgic about and feel good about our original game, right? But again, we're in a new age. And so I just want to encourage you to keep an open mind. This is exciting stuff. It's new content for Heroscape. Couldn't have had it any other way. And it's just fun it's just fun to be a part of it all. So update number 10, that's a wrap for today. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.